AOC breaks down in tears as President Trump signs the big beautiful bill into law. Democrats once again put a target on ICE agents. Republicans celebrate another huge win for the party, and polls show how broken liberals are right now.
I think this is one of the saddest days in modern American history. This is the largest. Withdrawal and ending of healthcare in American history. 17 million people in our country, 17 million Americans in our country are going to lose their Medicaid. They're going to lose their ACA insurance. Small business owners are going to have their healthcare costs skyrocket, and people are going to have their SNAP and WIC cut back. People are going to go hungry. People are going to get sick. On a scale unlike anything we've ever seen. And all of it is just to finance tax cuts for billionaires and the wealthiest corporations who don't even need it. I don't think we have ever seen or are prepared for how catastrophic this is set to be for a lot of people. And I think it's devastating. And they're talking about this as though it's some tax cut. Even the stuff that they're talking about, taxes on tips, no tax on tips, that's only for people, that's only up to $25,000. And if you're making less than that, you're already kind of exempt from a lot of these things in the first place. So they're giving people crumbs and they're taking away the whole loaf. And it's just a genuinely really sad day for our country.
Now notice how she had to correct herself and say Americans instead of just people. This is due to a fact that Democrats won't admit. There are massive cuts that are aimed at programs that benefit illegal immigrants, not US citizens. If we go back just to last year, it's estimated that the Biden-Harris administration allowed more than 20 million illegal immigrants to enter our country, which could explain why AOC is crying about these cuts. Many are under the impression that Democrats allowed illegal aliens to enter the country in an effort to sway elections, especially within certain swing states. What we have to understand is that the bill heavily affects many non-Americans, something that Democrats like AOC are not in favor of. And even though the big beautiful bill is set to help the working class, they're not happy, which led to New York Representative Michael Lawler entering AOC on Fox News.
Right after you got off the House floor voting on this bill, you told him then that you pointed out basically that in a number of tax provisions, they often do expire, and that's pretty common in legislating. Well, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez caught that interview, or at least saw it online, and she wrote, "It's not normal. Lawler voted to make the tax breaks on billionaires permanent while making the no tax on tips, just for those making less than $25K, expire in just 3 years. He's also kicking tipped employees off Medicaid, ACA, that's Obamacare, and clawing back their SNAP." So is she wrong about this bill?
Yes, she's entirely wrong. Look, the standard deduction, for instance, which was doubled under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, is made permanent. This is a huge tax cut for middle class and lower income families all across this country. Obviously, within this bill, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, a senior deduction, a child tax credit expansion. This is targeted towards the middle class and working class and lower income Americans all across this country. In any tax bill, there's always going to be provisions that expire. Some are made permanent. Some of the corporate tax rates, for instance, were made permanent in the last bill. Other provisions expired at the end of this year. That is always a give and take when you are negotiating a tax bill. But the big winners in this bill are low-income and middle-income working class Americans. And that is why we fought to get this across the finish line.
And then there's the continued attack on ICE, likening them to the Gestapo, saying that they're kidnapping people off of the streets. AOC is also raging about the budget that ICE is getting through the big beautiful bill. Here's what she said on Blue Sky. "I don't think anyone is prepared for what they just did with ICE. This is not a simple budget increase. It is an explosion, making ICE bigger than the FBI, US Bureau of Prisons, DEA, and others combined. It is setting up to make what's happening now look like child's play, and people are disappearing. Here's something that we should note. ICE can't just go around without orders, especially from an immigration judge. This means that they're going after illegal immigrants with orders to be deported. The problem is that the left is not saying that part of the story. Instead, they're making it out to seem as if these federal agents are breaking the law. And it's exactly why they're pushing ICE agents to remove their masks. It's not surprising to see that a New York lawmaker is trying to make this a law.
Lawmakers are calling for transparency from ICE, starting with having its agents remove their masks. ICE says the masks are optional and are meant to protect the agents who've been targeted too. Christy Kalishian explains.
Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
Immigration advocates and political leaders using 26 Federal Plaza, which houses the city's ICE field office, as a backdrop Saturday. Immigrants and even Comptroller Brad Lander have been detained here by ICE agents with masks on.
No excuses, no cover-ups. When law enforcement hides who they are, there is no accountability.
That's the message behind Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez's No Masks for ICE Act, introduced earlier this month, requiring that ICE agents be unmasked during their enforcement actions.
Now, I do have to note something very important. The past 4 years under the Biden-Harris administration has led to millions of illegal immigrants entering the country. Many of them didn't go through a background check, and it's a fact that there are people on terrorist watch lists around the world who got through our borders. We know that there are literal gang members who have entered different communities within different states, which makes the job of these ICE agents that much more dangerous, and it's not being helped by CNN.
While ICE agents are removing these illegal monsters, they've constantly faced danger themselves. ICE says assaults on agents are up over 500% this year. But instead of protecting the brave men and women working for ICE, CNN is out with this. An article touting a brand new app that alerts people of ICE sightings in their area. Now that obviously puts agents at risk, and it gives these dangerous illegals a chance to get away. ICE says CNN never reached out for comment. And acting ICE Director Todd Lyons says this in a statement, quote, CNN's promotion of an ICE spotting app is reckless and irresponsible. They are willfully endangering the lives of officers who put their lives on the line every day and enabling dangerous criminal aliens to evade U.S. law. Is this simply reckless journalism or overt activism?
Which brings me to the big, beautiful bill. The bill is being hailed by President Trump as a birthday gift for the entire country, as well as him fulfilling part of his promises that he made on the campaign trail last year. The final bill also allocates $45 billion for immigration detention centers, as well as about $30 billion to hire more ICE personnel, for transportation costs, and to maintain ICE facilities. Now, while Republicans are celebrating multiple victories, Democrats are failing. A new poll reveals another new low for the party, and this is one that's being reported by CNN of all networks.
I'm looking into whether or not Americans feel proud to be an American, and as it turns out, Democrats, their percentage who say they're proud to be an American has fallen through the floor. What are we talking about? Take a look here. Democrats' pride to be an American, extremely or very proud. In 2015, look at this. 4 out of 5 Democrats were extremely or very proud to be an American. That number has plummeted to just 36% now in 2025. A low this century has fallen by more than half since 2015 as Donald Trump has become, of course, president once again this year. Now, what is driving that decline? Well, a lot of it has to do with age. What are we talking about? Well, Generation Z Democrats, proud to be an American or not. Of course, Generation Z, born since 1997. Look at this. Only 24% of Generation Z Democrats are extremely or very proud to be an American. That is actually lower, Erica. That is lower than the percentage who say they have little or no pride to be an American at 32%. I just never thought I'd see these numbers based upon where we were a decade ago, but that's exactly where we are.
There's a lot of issues that need to be addressed here, but if we're looking at it from a high-level perspective, we'd understand something very clearly. These young kids haven't lived a life where they understand what's going on around the world. because they may think that life overseas is easy. But if you compared some of the poorest people here in America to the poorest people of other nations, you'd be surprised as to the difference in terms of finances. Let's now compare that to how Republicans are feeling about our country.
Well, this is where the trend line gets interesting, because with Republicans, there is no trend line. In fact, take a look here. Republicans' pride to be an American, extremely or very proud. In 2015, it was 90% back when Barack Obama was serving his second term. Now in Donald Trump's second term, it's basically the same percentage, 92%. So Republicans still are extremely or very proud to be an American. Democrats, on the other hand, have seen their numbers fall through the floor, led, of course, by the youngest generation, Generation Z.
Here's my question to you. Are you proud to be an American? Now, if you found value in this video, make sure to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. Thank you for your time. I'll talk to you in the next one.